First of all, I had no clue that everyone was coming today. Up until about, I'm supposed to turn this on probably. There we go. Up until about 3 weeks ago, I'm in my garage doing something with my son, working on a car. I think I was putting a radio in, and all of a sudden Ray shows up walking past the garage door. I'm going, what the heck? Ray doesn't usually stop at my house. And then a few seconds later, I see Captain Miller walking past, going, uh-oh, this isn't good. I'm either in really big trouble with, and they're alerting me, or something bad has happened at the department, and it wasn't either. And as they were telling me the story of what was happening, I'm still doing like this out-of-body experience even right now. I'm listening to Jeff talk and Ray talk. It's like, who are you guys talking about? It's hard to believe you guys are picking me, and in the state and the nation is picking me. And for those like the county executive and Ray, and to do this, and Brian Stile did it, our representative put it in a letter, and I don't even know who all put in a letter because they haven't showed me any of this yet. So I don't even know what they said. I don't even know what stories they made up to propel me to this level. But to have your staff think enough of you to go through all this work, to do everything they did to get me to this point, pretty big deal. So, to be honored like this, it still doesn't, I suppose if I was in Cancun, it'd feel differently at this moment. And just so you know, my wife was very excited when she heard she was going to Cancun. It didn't quite happen. But it's something. Jeff and I, we both started in '89, I think it was, right? And having 30 years doing something that is so important, especially at a time like this. If you really think what's going on in this country right now, it's police, law enforcement, public relations. That's what the whole thing's about. The DARE program is one of the connections that keeps law enforcement and children and the community together. If you really look at what's happened across this nation and what's happened in Kenosha, we're so much better off than what's happened in other parts of this country. We're right between Milwaukee and Chicago. They have riots day after day for weeks. We had one night. We had protests. Those protests, I was invited to come and be part of them. And it wasn't a protest. The protest that I went to in the park just down a block away, they didn't bash police. They didn't bash law enforcement. They wanted everybody to work together. And for 30 years, we've been doing that with the DARE program here. So, yeah. For those that don't know, if it wasn't for my mother, Sandy Beth, she's right there. She kind of the, I guess a lot of the values I have came from mom and dad, and mom's right there. Then you've got my wife, who's put up with me for, it's our 20-year anniversary. And it has been, at the election a couple of years ago, I bought her a gift. And we're going through 6 elections. For those of you who've never gone through an election before, it's interesting, it's exciting. When you win, it's really exciting, but it wears on you. It tears you down. You lose weight. It's a great diet plan. To have a spouse who goes with you for 6 different elections, 6 years of your life, 6 years of being scrutinized and being criticized and being praised and everything in between, couldn't ask for a better wife than Sharon. And then you've got Kenna, my middle one. Nathan's not here. He's the oldest one. He's 32. He's working today. And he gave me a grandson in November, little Emmett. And then you've got Kenna. She's 18 years old. She's an adult now. We haven't quite kicked her out of the house, and she hasn't left. She's still here. And thank God, because last night, for those who live on a farm or work on a farm, which we have a horse farm, we unloaded about 800 bales of hay and 4 wagons. Kenna and Evan. Evan's the youngest one. He's 16. He's a central. He's going to be a junior now. Kenna's moving on to UW lacrosse. Those two were absolute beasts in the hayloft. And if you really think about how many tons of hay they moved last night, I'm surprised they can even walk today. Look at them both, how fit they are, no body fat. But I couldn't ask for better kids. And Ray trying to sneak up here. Is my time?
No.
Is the music started? He's gonna come up like he helps DARE students when they can't talk. He puts his hand on their shoulder. No, I'll be okay. But it really is. I'm sitting there next to Jim, and as I'm listening to this, and people talking, going, who are they really talking about? It's you don't think of yourself as it's what you do, and I've got the command staff, I've got a department that's absolutely to die for. Do we make mistakes once in a while? Yeah, we do. But they're few and far between. And they're fantastic people. During this whole last few months, we've had meetings almost daily, or it turned out to like every 2 days, about COVID-19 and the protests and things like that. We've had outside people listening in and being part of our conversations, and they tell me afterwards, we cannot believe how organized, how smart, how sharp, how you guys have it together, how you guys really have it together. This is almost a 400-person department, and the staff that we have is so professional. They're so caring about the community, and even today, Ray cared for me as he told Nancy how old I was. And it's kind of, if you go to our DARE graduations, Ray, it's always a little battle and how old I am, and he was the first DARE officer and things like that. But this DARE program would not be what it is today without, let's see, one of our deputies right there, Rude, and Deputy Rowe. These two, especially Deputy Rowe, he's been doing it for 19 years. I did it for 10 years. I roughly calculate I was able to teach the elementary program, the middle school program, and the high school program. I taught all 3. I was the only one ever to do that part. I put roughly about 10,000 students through the DARE program. And when you go to the fair, when you go to the different functions, and you ask, either Ray or I will ask, who here graduated from the DARE program? And you see them raise their hand because their kids are now in it. And who said, who is Sheriff Beth, who is their student? And they raise their hand. Pretty cool. And I'm waiting for them to have, okay, who's a grandparent who had Sheriff Beth? We haven't reached that point yet, but it's getting closer. And it is, Deputy Rowe just holds it all together, along with some help from Lieutenant Klinghammer and Dave Wright and some other people that kind of keep it all going. But the group that we have for public relations for this department are just to die for. And they're the ones that actually should have the credit for making it all part of this. This award, it has my name on it, but it really is all the group of people that work together to do this. And for my family that puts up with everything that I have to do. So thank you for everyone.